Good afternoon, everybody. Severn here with Start From Seed. This afternoon I have you down here in the vegetable garden because I wanted to update you first on how the green beans are doing on their green bean pole. And I also wanted to show you my cucumber pickles. They are going crazy right now. They are filled with blossoms. There isn't a blossom out there without a pollinator on it. I'm really happy with their production so far. But right now, in the beginning, you only get about maybe one or two here and there, and those are fantastic to snack on, to pop in a salad, maybe to share with a neighbor. But today, I have about 5 or 6, and of course, that's not enough to fill a canner, but it is enough to make one of my favorite summertime snacks, which are refrigerator pickles. The wonderful thing about refrigerator pickles is you don't need any fancy equipment. You don't need a special canner, you don't need to water bath them. You just need a jar and a couple of pantry ingredients. Now, I want to make it clear that refrigerator pickles are not shelf stable. That means you can't make them and just stick them in the pantry or hold on to them until Christmas. You have to refrigerate these, and they're good for about 2 to 3 weeks. So hang out with me this afternoon and I'm going to show you exactly how you can make refrigerator pickles with wonderful farm market cucumbers or any that your neighbor. Look at these blossoms and just bees and pollinators on every blossom. We have a couple of little pickles that are coming about. Look at this. Oh, they'll fight over a blossom. Not an empty blossom to be found. This is just wonderful. Oh, they're even growing outside the fence here. So I'm gonna go ahead, maybe. Well, I would say that's a pretty good haul for the beginning of my cucumber pickling season. And occasionally one does get away from you. I actually found this hiding, and so that happens from time to time. I don't know if I'm going to pickle him. I might just turn him into a salad. And before I get out of this garden and show you how to turn these into delicious refrigerator pickles, I'm going to show you how the pole beans are doing. Here are the pole beans. I'm going to go ahead and put a link in the description below from when I started these from seed a few months back. I've never really grown green beans before, so this has been a little bit of a learning experience for me. I have a lot of blossoms, as you can see, but so far, no beans. Now, I have had a little bit of Japanese beetle damage. Nothing major. Nothing major at all. It happens. I'm not going to spray these. I try to be as organic as I possibly can in the garden. A few bites taken out of your plants here and there is not a big deal. It's not a reason to break out the pesticides, the neem oils, the 7, none of that. A good friend of mine told me a long time ago that if you don't have a few nibbles here and there, like I do right there, then your garden isn't part of the ecosystem. You know what? I found beans. They're not very big. Look at that. And then a few more right there. So it won't be long now. We'll have some beans. So right now, let's get these cucumbers up to the house and get them going. Now that we've been down to the garden to gather up some of the ingredients to make our refrigerator pickle cucumbers, now it's time to put it all together. You're going to need a 1 quart jar. You can use a canning jar. You can also reuse an old spaghetti sauce jar, a pickle jar, whatever, just as long as it's a jar with a lid. You are also going to need 1 tablespoon of table salt. If you choose to use pickling salt, make sure you cut that by half a tablespoon. You're also going to need a 1/4 teaspoon, a heaping teaspoon of mustard seed, 4 cloves or 1 tablespoon of chopped garlic, a half a cup of white vinegar. I prefer white vinegar, but you can use apple cider vinegar if you choose, or maybe any of those infused vinegars that might add a little bit of extra bite and taste to your pickles. And my favorite, fresh dill to taste. You can either grow this, maybe get it off of a neighbor or a farmer's market. You can also find it at the grocery store. Generally, it's in the produce section. You're also going to need a little bit of water. This is leftover water from my tea kettle. And of course, your pickled cucumbers. Let's get started. I don't know how many I'm going to need. I'm just gonna cut them up and see how she flies. Okay, now that I've got my ingredients, other than the pickles, inside the jar here and a little bit of that dill, I want to go ahead and put the lid on it and give it a good shake. I still don't have the water in there yet, but this will help get that salt to dissolve and mix all the ingredients around before I add the pickles or the cucumber slices, and as well as before I add more dill and add the water. So that looks pretty good there. Oh, that smells good. Okay. Now, one of the things I want to bring up while I'm cutting these cucumbers is that I read that you should take these ends and get rid of them, that they have a tendency to cause a pickle to be mushy, and that I believe it's either the blossom or the stem end can also cause them to taste a little bit bitter. So kick those out and either put these in a compost, feed them to your chickens, throw them in a salad, or just snack on them like I do. Let's get these cut. Now, whatever size you choose to cut them is up to you. I like slices. You could also possibly do these whole if you had maybe smaller spears. And you can also cut them into spears. I personally like the chips. So, and just plop them in there. Pretty easy so far, right? Let's get in there. Stuff the jar as much as you possibly can. I'm going to try to have 4 or 5 in here, and then that That big cucumber I found, I'm just gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna put it, I have it in the refrigerator. I'm just gonna eat that with a salad. So I'm gonna stuff some more dill in here. Okay. Now, that water, I am now going to fill this jar the rest of the way with this water here. And that's gonna help make our brine. Just to the top there. Like I said, we are not going to process these. We don't have to worry about things like headspace. So I'm just going to put this lid back on here and we're going to give it a good shake. Get all those ingredients mixed in there. One more piece of dill I want to try to get in there. Now that you've got all your ingredients inside your jar and you've given it a really good shake, it's time to put them in the refrigerator. They are ready to eat within 24 hours. I know you can do it. Once again, we didn't process these, so they are not shelf stable. Make sure you keep them in the refrigerator, and they'll be good for about 3 weeks. Thank you everybody for watching. Happy gardening. During editing, I realized I forgot an important ingredient, a heaping 1/4 of a teaspoon of peppercorns. I'm not sure if it would have made a difference or not, so let's get them in there. And shake it. Doesn't that look pretty?